Welcome everyone to 2D4 Damage. This is a show where we talk about all things RPG, everything from games mechanics to the lore of the worlds or writing within them, or just our love of dice and minis. My name is Dave Knighton. Each week I am the host, and each week I'll be joined by a new co-host. This week I'm lucky enough to be joined by Josh Epperson. Josh is our all-around everything guy, right?
Correct. Yeah. Whatever needs to be done.
Josh, we just got done at Anime Bonsai this last weekend, and that was pretty crazy. You actually ran games.
I ran a lot of games.
You ran a lot. We all,
it was crazy. You're right.
It was a pretty good time. It was pretty busy, but
it was. It flew by, and I was exhausted by the end of it.
Yeah,
so.
Excellent. Yeah, it was a long weekend for Anime Bonsai. It's typically one of our slower ones, and this year was busy.
It really was. Yeah, just nonstop.
So let me go ahead and we're going to go ahead and talk about Unearthed Arcana. Josh is going to be our guy comes in, when the new Unearthed Arcana is released, maybe once a month. We'll go over all of them. We typically end up with 5 of them every month. Right. So tell us a little bit about you, Josh.
Yeah, so I've been gaming since 1988. Started in the worst type of game where it was just my friend's older brother tormenting us through a dungeon for 3 or 4 hours. It was enough to get me hooked on it. I've been playing ever since. So D&D was definitely my first game. My books were thrown away because of Satanic Panic, as so many other people
grew up in Utah in the 80s.
Yep. But my mom was okay with any other role-playing game as long as it didn't say Dungeons and Dragons on it. So that got me into a bunch of other different RPGs and kind of also feeds my love of other systems today. But I keep coming back to D&D because that's what people want. That's what people play. It's easy to run and find games for D&D.
How many systems do you run?
Currently 4. I've got about 300 rule books.
I was gonna say, how many? not how many are you currently running? How many can you run?
About 300 different rule books.
Yeah. I know it's like I'll ask if you know how to run something. You're like, let me get the book and I'll learn it. So.
Yep. This is true.
So that's great. So tell us about Unearthed Arcana. What is Unearthed Arcana?
Yeah. So Unearthed Arcana, the name comes from the original Unearthed Arcana books from various editions that added extra rules to the books. Mm-hmm. What Wizards does with it now, it's a way to let the public play test things, give it a polish before releasing into a published product, basically. So we have everything from like the minion rules that came out last winter that were included in the Essentials box set. Mm-hmm. And since August, they've just been churning out all these class options. And we haven't seen anything like this since Xanathars was released, so it's probably something cool coming next year. So
yeah, so right now they just released a couple new ones. Yes. So this month we've got the Cleric, Druid, and Wizard, as well as the brand new ones, the Fighter, Ranger, and Rogue. Yes. So let's go ahead and start off with the ones that came out 4 weeks ago. Cool. Yeah, it's been about 4 weeks ago. So let's talk about the Twilight Domain Cleric.
Yeah. I love this one. To me anyway, it's that classic there to protect the party, protect other people type of cleric. They've got the heavy armor, they got martial weapons. It's a great alternative to like the War Domain.
War Domain's always been my go-to. I'm a cleric player. I've always been a cleric player, and I've always picked the War Domain, and I'm digging this Twilight.
Yeah, I am too.
Like you said, you get the proficiencies with the heavy armor, and the martial weapons, which is something that no other cleric gets. And then at first level, you get Eyes of the Night.
Yes, this one is cool. You have unlimited dark vision, and which by itself is ridiculous and awesome. On top of that, though, if your party's within 10 feet of you or anybody else you choose, you can share the benefit of dark vision for 10 minutes. You're limited by your wisdom modifier, but
still 10 minutes walking through a dungeon.
That's
if there's no torches.
Yeah.
Anymore, most of the parties I come across, everyone except for one person has dark vision. So
yeah.
There's always that one human.
Yeah. You got that one human or dragonborn who just relies on the rest of the party to see for them. So
yeah. And then also first you get the Vigilant Blessing.
Mhm.
Yeah, so this was a fun one too. I mean, the advantage on the next initiative roll the creature makes for anyone. So if you this is a support character,
Yeah.
no
Oh, yeah.
doubt. You send
Absolutely.
your tank in there. You say, "Yep, you've got the blessing. You had advantage on that initiative roll. Go beat something up."
Right.
So it's a great one. And then we jump into a second level, the Twilight Sanctuary for the Channel Divinity.
Yeah, yeah, it's a cool, alternative to Channel Divinity. I like it because it really kind of shows off the support feature of
Mhm.
this type of cleric. And just the way it's written, where you hold up your holy symbol and there's
Yep.
a sphere that appears around you at a 30-foot radius. It's just dim light, but your whole party has dark vision, so that
It
doesn't really
doesn't
matter.
really matter. I really love the fact it gives you the 1d8 temporary hit points to anyone that's
Yes.
standing in
Yeah,
it.
very cool.
And so you're out 30 feet. You let everyone go in before you. You're standing
Yep.
back there. You've got your.
Yeah. And this, I mean, a lot of channel divinities aren't going to be as effective at high levels. The 1d8 at high levels, it's a nice boost. It doesn't really do that much. But with the other thing is you can end one effect that causes Charmed or Frightened. So when you're at those really high levels and you're worrying about dragon fear, it's not
Yeah.
a problem anymore.
They
Yeah.
come running towards you. You just jump in front of them. You turn them back around and send them back out there.
Yeah.
Here's some
very
temporary
cool.
hit points. You're no longer frightened. Go, go, go.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I do. I really like that whole feature with it. Again, it's that typical uh typical cleric,
Oh,
the
yeah.
standby, heal everyone, stand in the back of the party.
Yep.
But you also get the Step of the Brave at 6th level.
Mm-hmm.
And this
yeah.
one is nice. It does, if you ever do find yourself in the thick of the fray, not only do you have the martial weapons and the heavy armor proficiency,
Right.
you have advantage on the saving throws against being frightened.
Correct.
So
And on top of that, if you're in dim light or darkness, which this cleric is just built for, and I mean, a lot of times the party's going to be adventuring in dim light or darkness, you know. So
it's almost like they're going into dungeons.
yeah, you're
And
going to
we're-
get.
I mean, if you're going into dungeons to
Yeah.
fight dragons,
Yeah, this is what you
this
want.
is what you want
Yeah.
right here.
But yeah, as a bonus action, you get a flying speed equal to your walking speed until so. Again, very cool.
So now you're flying above the party 30 feet down,
Yeah,
blessing them.
Yep, you are out of the way and doing what you need to do as your clerical duties.
And then 8th level, Divine Strike.
Yes. It's a nice little boost. You can infuse your weapons, strike with divine energy. When you hit a creature with that weapon attack, it deals psychic damage, which is awesome. So I mean, divine energy is always good, you
Mhm.
know, but radiant energy is awesome, but psychic, there's not a lot
There's not
that's
a
resistant to
whole lot,
psychic.
yeah.
So it really gives us a little extra martial prowess here with that.
Yeah, and the psychic damage. Anytime you can do damage besides the typical slashing and bludgeoning and piercing, you get
Oh,
those
yeah.
extra ones. Most of these monsters, they don't have immunities or resistance to them. So
Right.
And then the capstone for this one, the Midnight Shroud at 17th level.
Yeah, this one, I like this one, especially because every party that I run has a warlock that just doesn't care whether they throw down darkness. They throw
Mhm.
down darkness in the middle of the party, and this, I mean, it's your 17th level ability, so could be better, could be worse, but you still have all those awesome powers before, all those high level cleric spells. It's basically going to let your party see through a
See
darkness,
in darkness.
spell.
I mean,
which
and
is, yeah.
that's not bad. I mean, even with the warlocks, they drop it. No one else can see.
Yeah, yeah, and they
And-
always forget that.
Yep. It's like, okay, now everyone's blind. Good luck finding your way out of here.
Right,
So, but I mean,
right.
this allows you. I mean, it's not the entire party. It is modified. It is by the wisdom modifier.
Yeah,
But at
yeah,
17th
yeah.
level,
17th level,
if you're a cleric, you've
Yeah.
got a.
you're probably really good chance you're
yeah,
covering
I
your
mean,
party there.
You're looking at least a 5 modifier. So,
Right.
I mean, you should be fine there. So that's as far as clerics go. Like I said, I'm
Yeah.
a cleric. I'm a
Oh
go-to.
yeah,
cleric,
I get it. It's solid. I've already added a Twilight Cleric NPC to my home game.
Nice.
So.
Speaking of characters that we play, I've never actually played a druid. However, with this druid, the
Yes.
Circle of Wildfire, I have fallen in love with it.
It is a very cool druid class. It's one I've been really wanting to see in 5th edition. Past editions have had the kind of fire druid or destructive druid. This one kind of comes full circle though, because I mean, it's a wildfire druid, but it's still there to rebuild, regain, boost the party. It's not just doing damage.
Yeah.
It still has all those druid things. It's
It's
cool.
it's the whole idea, that fire with the fire brings growth and
Exactly.
refresh. And so not
Yes.
only do you have a destructive character, but it also there's a lot of stuff in here where you're getting those healing abilities as well. And that's
Right.
one of the things that I really like about this. Like I said, I've got two right now. I'm running two games, and in both of those, well, I'm running three games, and two of them I got a druid in them.
Yeah.
And so I've never been a big fan of. I've never played the druid. I've never
Right.
been a big fan of them, but I'm really starting to. I'm really watching what they're doing with it, and I'm
Oh
actually
yeah.
really starting to like the druid. And with this one, I'm building one of these things, and they're going to see what a circle of wildfire can do. So,
Nice.
I mean, circle spells
Yeah.
at second level when you take your circle wildlife, your feature here. So, obviously, you're getting you get firebolt as a cantrip
Yeah. Yeah.
right off the bat, and then you get a bunch of other wizard spells, which is great.
Yeah. You get the big ones: Scorching Ray, Fireball, Flame Strike. And to kind of show that regrowth thing, you're also getting Aura of Life, Raise Dead,
Hmm.
all those kind of things as you progress through your levels.
Yeah, and then as well as the spells that you can now use and cast, you also get summon wildfire.
Yes, and this is the really cool part about this druid, I think. You basically can spend one of your wild shapes to summon this wildfire spirit to you. It'll pop into a space you can see within 30 feet. And anything within 10 feet of that has to give a dex saving throw or take 2d10 fire damage.
Yeah,
So
and
that's a nice little boost. That's a nice AoE like right off the bat there for the druid.
yeah, right up for the druid. And honestly, druids are one of those things where you drop a druid in, especially low levels, they're always shaping into a big gorilla coming in and taking
Right.
stuff up.
Yeah.
I really like this because it gives a little bit more depth to the druid itself. It's not just
Absolutely.
turning into some creature that it's seen. It now has a companion that the
Yeah.
ranger wish it had.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The ranger would kill for this option. And speaking of how the rangers works that nobody plays. So this is a companion. It stays with you for an hour when you use that wild shape. It'll keep coming back. It's an elemental spirit. So on its turn, it can take the dodge action. Unless you spend a bonus action, then it can do all sorts of funky stuff.
Yeah.
It's great. And it has its own unique stat blot. It does just all sorts of cool stuff.
Yeah,
So,
it's in its stat block. I mean, it has everything here. It's got some immunities. It's got dark vision. It's got a decent passive perception.
right.
And then its actions. Not only does it do the flame seed as a ranged weapon attack, I really love this fiery teleportation.
Oh yeah.
So
that
you
one's cool.
just use a bonus action. You can command this thing to jump anywhere 30 feet in an unoccupied area from it.
Right.
And as soon as it drops down, there's a DC save. Otherwise, they're taking
Yep,
fire damage.
taking fire damage. Yeah.
So, and that is just fun. And at a second level, that's just crazy.
Yeah, and then the abilities to grow off of that later on, it just works so well with that fiery teleportation. So
yeah, and then so you do get that at second, then you don't get anything new until 6th level.
right.
But you do get the enhanced bond.
Yes. This was cool when you cast a spell that deals fire damage, which you have plenty of with this particular druid. As long as you're you have to do this while your wild spirit is summoned. You roll a d8 and you get a bonus to one roll of the spell equal to that number rolled. So you get to add an extra d8 on top of that spell damage.
Yeah. And not only that, you also can cast from your from your wildfire spirit.
Yes.
So now
which is
you've
cool.
got a wizard's familiar
right.
that is casting spells as itself.
Right. Yeah, you can take that because the wildfire spirit's immune to fire damage. You can use that fiery teleportation, pop him someplace else, and drop a fireball. If you want, party's not going to hate you for it too much.
Not too much.
yeah.
Then level 10, we get the Flames of Life. Now we were talking kind of how you get the healing abilities.
Right.
Now we're really starting to dive into that. All this damage, everything you've done, you work your way up. You get what? 1d10 or 2d10?
Yeah, it's 2d10 plus your wisdom modifier.
Yeah.
If you kill something, Um, well, if there's just something dead, I believe.
Yeah, so any
Yeah,
creature, any
yeah,
creature that dies that you can see dies within 30 feet of you or your spirit,
right.
you can use your reaction to cause primal flames to spring from the body. When a creature you can see touches these flames, the creature regains hit points or takes fire
Yeah,
damage.
yeah, which is it's very versatile. It's very cool. It gives the the druid a little bit extra healing, and it has a really flavorful way of doing that.
Yeah, it's like touch the fire. It's okay, I promise.
And you can use this a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier. So at
Hmm.
10th level, you'll probably look at least three,
3 to 4,
3 to 4. So
easily.
yeah.
Yeah, in between long rests. So I mean that's not bad. And then we got to the blazing endurance at 14th level.
Yeah. So you're kind of
So you
you
cap out a little bit higher than
yeah.
some of the others, but at 14th level, you get your bond with your wildfire spirits now even stronger. When you drop those 0 hit points, you don't die right out, and
No.
anything that does that
Yeah,
is
that's
always nice.
always a great ability. On top of that, though, you're getting temporary hit points
Mm,
back.
yeah,
5 times your druid levels with 14th level. I
yeah,
mean, you have temporary hit points that are up
it's
there.
yeah. So your fire damage equals 2d10 plus your druid level is what you're looking at.
Yep,
So
you're gonna do
5 times
fire.
your druid level plus the temporary hit points.
Yes, and that 2d10, and then on top of that,
Oh,
any creature you see of your choice within 30 feet is also going to take 2d10 plus your druid level
yeah, and so
in
that's
fire
just
damage.
so you stand back up, you just go down, you stand back up, and I just imagine this like burning blaze up around
Yes.
you as you just cast this fire at them.
Yeah, it's very cool. Again, Wizards is getting really thematic with these archetypes that they've been adding, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
So,
I could see this one being a lot of fun to play, and yeah, definitely have a party
oh yeah,
that is going to be running into something like this.
nice.
So now let's talk about the wizard.
Yeah, the Onomancy, the true namer. At the best of the times, I'm not a big fan of wizards. This one, yeah.
Yeah, wizards.
Yeah,
There's always something that just seems like there's something missing.
yeah.
I like the idea of the onomancy.
It's
I
very
really
cool thematically. Yes.
thematically, learning the name of something gives
Yes.
you the power over them, and the idea behind it, the flavor that comes with it.
Right.
But I can't see it working in a lot of campaigns. Now,
Yeah,
when I'm currently running one of them in Avernus, and so
yeah.
something like this, the way that I
Yeah.
run it, if you know the devil's name, if you know
Right.
the demon's name, that would
Yeah,
be
it'd
a
be it'd be
huge thing to have.
great in a situation like that.
So, and I mean, that's one of the things that you can do at second level. You're getting extract name,
Right.
and they have to tell you what their name is if they
They
fail
do.
on their saving
Even
throw.
if they don't know what their true name is, they have to tell you.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is it's a one-shot chance. If they make that saving throw, they never have to
Nope.
tell you.
They see through it, and it's not even. I mean, you get the chance to do it again after a long rest on
Right.
someone else.
On someone else, yes.
But you can never. But that creature is now completely immune to that ability.
Correct, yes.
And so that's kind of a little like,
Yeah,
I would like to see maybe some more ability to do that, or
Oh, yeah.
something else.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're setting up like a campaign with a lot of intrigue or a political type of venture, or something with reoccurring villains other
Mhm.
than just a single big bad evil guy. It's fun, but I don't see it coming in all that useful.
But at the same time, if you are setting up one of those
Oh, yeah.
intrigues and you've got those bad guys, you've got those big bads that
Yeah,
are playing, an integral underground role right
Right.
next to your party,
yeah,
this could potentially kill it within the first
yeah,
couple
yeah.
sessions.
That's the other
And now
thing. On the
now
other
we're going
hand,
back to
you've
the
just
drawing board.
yeah, your campaign's over with a couple of good,
Yeah, a couple bad rolls.
a couple bad rolls
your
on the
part.
DM's half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the idea, it's there. Like I said, I still like the idea. And then,
Yeah.
because I mean, you also get the fateful naming.
Right.
At second level, another feature for them. And this is kind of nice because, again, Bane or Bless spells are wizard spells for you, and you add them to your
Right.
spell, but you don't have to worry about preparing them because they're always prepared.
Yeah, which is cool. It's a cool ability to have for a wizard, and I like where they're coming from with that.
I really think it's the same. it's along the same idea of when you know the name, the true name of something or
Right.
someone, you have that power and that control.
Yes.
And so that is nice. And I mean, you can cast a spell without expending a spell slot if you speak the true name.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like you said, in a game that takes place in the Nine Hells, that would be cool to be able to like pop off those extra banes and blesses, you
Yeah.
know?
Just get them out of the way, especially when you have a high level pit feint coming against a
Oh
couple
yeah,
low level parties. It's
absolutely.
that would be nice, but again, it's just I can't see it being useful in everyday
Yeah,
campaigns.
yeah,
Um, the resonant utterance, however, this is kind of at sixth level is kind of
right.
the saving grace. I think you do have to make it up to sixth level, but
Yes, yeah.
you get to choose when you know the name of something, when you know the true name, you get to use your resonance. You get to power those words and do some really cool
Yeah,
things.
it's almost like Battle Master, but for wizards.
Yeah,
So,
that's a good way to look at it. Yeah, I mean, you could choose from absorption.
right.
When you cast a spell that deals damage to the named target, you gain 3d6 temporary hit points.
Yeah.
Um, devastation.
Devastation. Again, if you know the name, um, cause them to make a saving throw. The creature has disadvantage on the first save it makes against the spell.
So
And where you have to tie these into a spell you're casting, I
Mhm.
mean, that's great, especially on some of those save or suck spells where
if,
you
if
know,
if they fail, there's nothing there. You just wait
yeah,
to the spell slot. This gives you a little bit of
yeah, there's
little extra help
yeah,
there.
there's some insurance on there.
So then you've got disillusion. It's the first time the named creature takes damage from the spell, the creature takes the extra 2d8 force damage. And then again, we're looking at those additional damage types, not just the bludgeoning,
Right,
piercing.
right. Yeah, if you can add force damage in, that's awesome. Nullification. I like nullification. Like this is one place I actually see this coming in very useful because if you know your own party's true names, you can if they're cursed or something, you can remove that curse. You can, blow
Yeah,
off a 1 level spell to do a remove curse
yeah,
basically with this, which is pretty useful.
yeah, and that's not bad at all. Puppetry. First time the named creature takes damage from the spell, you can knock the creature prone or move it up to you 10 feet, either directly towards you or away from you. So, I mean, this one is nice if you want to just get it away from you. I mean, maybe if you have someone that's ranged,
Right, right.
is doing a range thing, you can bring it closer to your
Yeah.
fighter or your
Yeah, I
barbarian
mean,
and
if
have them
you're
just
yeah,
go to town
if
on
your
them.
fighter's standing right in front of you, I guess it would
Yeah,
be.
I mean, I wouldn't do it. Come towards me. There's no one here. And then
Yeah.
sympathy is another one of the
Sympathy.
residents.
Yeah. Basically, you can target the creature with the spell, even if you can't see that creature or it has total cover against the spell. So again, bad guy cast darkness. It doesn't matter to
Doesn't
you now.
matter.
So
I
you
can
can.
I can see you. Good luck. You're still taking damage from. You could be hiding under a rock. And you're still taking that fireball
That's
damage.
right.
And then at 10th level, so at sixth level, you get to know two
Two
of
of
them,
those, yeah.
and then at 10th level, you get to know two more. So you know a total of
Right.
4 of those resonances by 10th level.
Correct.
And then 14th level, again for the caps on this one, is the relentless naming. So with this one, you learn how to bypass the named creature's defenses, and you get to cast a spell. Seriously, when you cast the spell, it deals damage to the creature. You can cause the spell to deal force or psychic damage.
Yeah, yeah, like we keep saying, I mean, you're overcoming resistance pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
There's pretty force and psychic. Those ones are rare to have resistances to.
Yeah. So those are always nice. Now, like I said, as far as wizards are concerned,
yeah,
we're gonna get some hate here.
yeah,
Possibly.
very
Not
likely.
a big fan of wizards, and I want there's a few things in here I like. I like the resonance, but I think a lot of it I just can't see it actually doing much in typical games that I run.
in your normal style of D&D, if there is such a thing, it's just not going to be as useful. But again, it depends on how you have your campaign set up. And my problem has always been with wizards. People who play wizards, at least in my experience, like to find ways to break the game.
I mean,
So
and
this gives them a lot
this
of
would definitely
options.
give them a lot of options.
Yes.
There's a lot of things that someone that plays wizards a lot, that knows how to run it. Don't get me wrong. This could turn into. I haven't seen this one played. This is one that
Yeah,
I
yeah,
haven't seen played.
I have
And
to see it
so
before I can give a final judgment on it, but it's just not wowing me the way some of these other options are.
yeah, it's
So
true. So those are the three that were covered. They now have the feedback form up on the site.
they do. Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to go through, and planning on running some of these in my games.
Right.
So that way I can get some kind of play test
Oh, yeah.
ideas with them.
Absolutely.
I always kind of struggle letting my players play the
Yeah.
UAs because I do play long games, and so
Yep, same here. That's what NPCs are for.
that's right.
It's
I'll throw them together and I'll throw my party at them and let them see what they can do
That's
with
right.
them. So
yeah, because if it ends up being horribly overpowered, the NPC is moved on to another town and don't have to worry about it
done.
ever again.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the ones that just came out a couple days ago.
Right.
Just 2 days, just last week.
Yeah, it was like Thursday or Friday
Yeah.
last week. So
Fighter, Ranger, and Rogue.
Yes.
I have to say, this is a whole different option than the ones before that.
it really is. Yeah.
Let's start off with the Rune Knight. It's a
Yeah.
martial archetype for the fighter. Now,
Correct.
this is a kind of fun one.
It is, and I think we both had that same idea of what kind of character we wanted to play.
Oh
with
yeah,
it,
this
so.
is definitely a halfling.
Yes, a halfling Ruin Knight.
Or possibly a gnome.
Oh yeah, either
one
would
of
be great.
them are going to be fun. So the whole idea with the Rune Knight is this is throwing us back into Storm King's Thunder.
It is.
We're pulling
definitely.
out the runes from the giants themselves here.
Yes.
So I'm kind of I don't know if they're looking towards doing a re-release, kind of like what they did with Tyranny.
With Tyranny, and I've heard lots of speculation, not from Wizards, but from people saying, "Well, we got this one, so maybe that one's coming." And
Yeah.
because a lot of people seem to want to run a Ruin Knight through Storm King. So.
Yeah, and I mean, I can understand why. I
Yeah.
mean, right off the top, you're getting proficiency with Smith's tools, and
Yep.
you automatically speak, read, and write giant.
Yes.
If you're playing Storm Kings, that's
that right there, you're
that's
set.
worth it. And then at third level, Rune Magic.
Yeah.
So you get to imbue your items with these runes.
Yeah, so you get to pick 2 of your choice at third level. You can put them on weapons, armor, or shields, depending on what type of ruin you're doing. So whenever you finish a long rest, you get to touch a number of objects equal to the number of ruins that you know, and you inscribe a different rune onto that object. And for the rest of the day, that rune's on there. There are special abilities that come with each rune. They don't last the entire day, but they still are very cool. It remains, like I said, it remains on the object till you finish that long rest. Only 1 ruin per object. So I like that. You can't stack them up.
You can't stack them up and
So-
just have, a breastplate
Right,
with all
right.
these runes
Yeah,
on
you're
it.
just taking no damage from anything. So-
Yeah. And I mean, they're really kind of cool. The rune options, you're looking at all of them that are straight out of Storm Kings. You've got the Hog, the Ild, the Sky, the Stein, and the Uvar. And
Right.
so we've got the Hog for the Heal rune.
Right.
So this one is this one's kind of cool because it gives you while you're carrying the object or wearing it, you have advantage on saving throws against being poisoned, and you have resistance against poison damage,
Which is cool.
So not only that, you get to for 1 minute, let's see here, you get resistance to bludgeoning and piercing and slashing damage for 1 minute, and you can do that once between long rests.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, honestly, at third level,
Yeah.
you're not doing any more than
No,
one fight.
yeah,
I mean, unless your DM really hates you.
Right. In which case you have other issues. So
Right.
Yeah. So the Ild rune, the fire giant rune, you basically channel that what you think about as fire giants. You become a master craftsperson with this. It doubles your proficiency bonus for any tool checks. Yeah.
That you are proficient with.
That you are proficient
So I
with,
mean, right off the bat, you're automatically proficient with Smith's
you
tools.
get Smith's tools no matter what.
And then based off of whatever background you choose,
Right.
you're going to get some really cool ones. I mean,
yeah. So I mean that on its own is cool. You know, if I like to add crafting a lot of times to my games because I run long winding games and the characters want to make things usually. The combat ability that comes with this is really cool too. You summon fiery shackles, and the target must make a strength saving throw or be restrained for 1 minute.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Yeah.
At third level, you
At,
got fiery shackles.
yep. And that during that time while they're restrained, 2d6 fire damage at the start of each of its turns. So for 10 turns,
Mhm.
2d6 fire damage. And I don't know what we said about the DCs, but the DCs are equal to 8. I mean, with anything else, 8 plus your proficiency bonus, and it goes off your intelligence
Intelligence,
modifier
yeah, I
with
was
this.
just gonna bring that up.
So,
If you're gonna
yeah,
run this, you have to put a lot of thought. You have to know right from the
right.
get-go to make sure intelligence isn't your dumb stat,
Right,
like a
right.
lot of
You're
fighters
not gonna be a
are.
dumb fighter if you're
Yeah.
playing this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's either, it's wisdom or intelligence when you're talking about a fighter, and typically intelligence because you want that fighter wants that perception.
Right, right. So it's gonna be a
So,
little bit different. You're gonna be an investigating type of fighter at this point in
yeah.
time. And again, that ability, that combat ability, you can regain it on a short
Yep.
or long rest.
And
So,
while it's, I mean, every time while it's on each one of its turns, that 2d6 while it's shackled up
yeah,
until it can break free of
it's
it.
nasty.
And then you got the ice, the frost rune. This is the stoic calm. I like the way that they say it. You evoke
Yes.
the frost giant's stoic calm. When you have this, you have the advantage on animal handling checks and intimidation checks,
Right.
which could be kind of fun depending on where you're at.
It definitely could, yeah.
You can also, and then the combat stuff with this one, your strength score increases by 2 for 10 minutes. So that gives you an additional 1 point modifier at least.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So, which is nice. And it can't go over 30. So, I mean, if you're wearing, your
Right.
your belt of giant strength, you can't go too high.
Right, right. But I
But
mean, it's still
and it's not, I don't feel it's overpowered either
no,
because you can only do that once for every long rest. So once a
exactly.
day, you just
Yeah.
get that little extra bump of
Yeah, yeah.
strength.
It's cool. You're just tapping this inner reserve that you've learned from the giants somehow.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the sky rune from the cloud giants. And I love that each of these basically gives you advantage or a double proficiency on different skills. This one, you get advantage on dexterity, sleight of hand checks, and charisma deception checks. Kind of emulating the deceptiveness of the cloud giants with this one. Combat ability on this one, when you or a creature you can see within 30 feet of you is hit by an attack roll, you use your reaction, invoke this rune, and you cause the attack to target a different creature within 30 feet of you, other than the attacker itself. Doesn't stop it from hitting one of its minions or companions or anything.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's kind of cool. You're using, like I said, you're using that deception that cloud giants are known for, and you're turning your enemy's strikes against them. Um, and magic transfers regardless of the attack's range too.
Yeah.
So which is cool. And again, short or long rest on this, so not overpowered. Another nice little boost or bump. Where you get 2 of these if you know you're going to be in town, or you got a bank heist maybe, or, and I need to sneak past the town guards, work your way into town. You put that on your armor for the day, and you're good to go.
And then the Stein rune. So from the stone giants. Now, I have to admit, with all of them, they've been really kind of true to the way that I've always played giants.
Right.
This one kind of threw me for a loop because aside from like the dream walkers for the stone giants, I never really thought of them as very, wise giants themselves.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing, the runes magic channels the insightfulness of a stone giant. Yeah, like I said, the only time I've ever when I'm running these things, when I role play them,
Right.
they're the regular ones. They're brutes, and they don't like those. They don't like the Dreamwalkers.
Right,
They get sent out, and they're on their own.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. I've never thought of it that way. So, but I mean,
but
it's cool. It works.
But I love playing those. I love playing those.
Oh yeah,
giants because
they're
so
great.
much fun because they are deep and they do have that insightfulness and they're very
Yeah.
clever. But you do get the advantage on your insight checks. You also get the dark vision out to 60 feet. If you already have the dark vision, you get an additional 30 on
get a
top of
bump.
it. So, you throw this down there with your twilight, you can see forever. With your twilight cleric, you're just
going.
You're golden. But that on its own is kind of cool. You automatically have that. All of these first ones, that's just what you have automatically. If you have the item every morning, you put your rune on there. And then you have it. But you also get When you see the creature ends its turn within 30 feet of you, you can use your reaction to invoke the rune and force the creature to make that wisdom saving throw.
Right.
If it fails, it's charmed.
Yeah.
So again, we're going off of those walker giants. And like I said, I really like those.
Yeah. It threw me, like you said, it threw me for a loop. I'm charmed. That's
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, it makes sense depending on the stone giant in question. So,
but not only is it, when it's charmed, its speeds drop to 0 and it's incapacitated.
Right.
And so that's not just, I mean, that's one of the Dreamwalker's abilities.
Right.
Is that one. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, that is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so yeah, you pull that out and you just charm them, and then you let everyone else go to town on them.
Yeah.
However, they take damage and they can make the save again.
Right. Exactly.
So, but once again, once per long rest. So.
Yeah. Last one, Uvar, Storm Rune. You get the Storm Giant's ability to glimpse into the future. If any of these are overpowered, it's this one, but I still really like it.
Yeah.
You have advantage on intelligence arcana checks, which is kind of strange for a fighter to have, but again, with this type of fighter in your background, sure.
Yeah.
You know, why not?
And I mean, it's not really overpowered because again, you're only getting it once per.
Yeah,
long rest.
That's the thing. And along with that advantage on intelligence, you can't be surprised as long as you're not incapacitated.
Yeah.
Which, good and bad. I mean, it's great for the player, whoever's playing it.
Let them go first.
Yeah. The combat bonus for this one, the one that's nuts.
Yeah.
So you enter a prophetic state, and for 1 minute or until you're incapacitated, any creature you can see within 60 feet, including yourself, anytime they make an attack roll, saving throw, or an ability check, you can use your reaction to cause the roll to have advantage or disadvantage. I'm glad that this is only a minute. But again, that's 10 rounds.
Yeah,
you know, that's going to take you through a combat.
And it's only the reaction. So, I mean, you only get once through the whole initiative.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's just that one time, you know, it's not going to, you're not firing this off anytime anybody does anything. It's just the reaction, and it's cool.
Yeah,
I will admit,
and it gives the fighter
cool.
a choice, you know, because they can also use they have other reactions. That they can choose from as well.
Yeah.
So it's just a nice thing to have if they know that they're going to get hit, or if they're worried about it, or if they see their comrade getting ready to make that killing blow. It's like, yes, do it.
Yeah, I want to make sure it happens. So it's going to lead to some fun heroic moments in the party. So I do like that.
Yeah,
and I don't really think it's overpowered because when you take into consideration everything else that came out in the recent UAs and your typical party composition, I like giving the fighter a little bit of a boost like this, you know, get people excited to play a fighter again.
Yeah. and it's as far as some of the other fighter classes I've seen, this is probably one of the easiest.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm working with my 10-year-old, or she's running a fighter.
Right.
And when we're sitting down, we're trying to go through the different martial classes to choose from, trying to explain all the rules. And I'm like, you know, and it's one of those things where you always tell people, it's like, oh, you don't want to be a spellcaster when you're first starting out. You want to be a fighter or a barbarian.
Right.
Fighters can have just as many in-depth, difficult rules.
It's true. Battlemaster, there's a lot to choose from with Battlemaster. Eldritch Knight, there's a lot you can mess up with an Eldritch Knight.
Spell casting in there. And I tried talking, because that's what my daughter went with. She went with the Battlemaster. And so I'm like, okay, what do you want to focus on?
Right. Yeah. That is, I didn't think of it that way. That is true though. It's a nice, it still gives you a lot of meat to work with, but it's simple choices. You know, it's something to kind of, when you don't want to just play the champion, you got this. Yeah, you know,
you got something else to choose from that's not over the top. You have 5 choices to choose from.
Right.
Which one do you want? You get 2.
Yeah.
Pick 2.
Yeah. Nice and easy.
Yeah, and that's right up the bat. And then we get onto 3rd level Rune Knight feature, which is our favorite part. And the reason we are going to be building a gnome and a halfling Rune Knight is the Giant Might. Tell us about the Giant Might.
Yeah, so Giant Might is a bonus action. You magically gain this following benefit that lasts for a minute. If you're smaller than large, you are suddenly large. Everything else resizes with you. And like you would normally expect, you get advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws, and your weapon attacks deal an extra 1d6 damage. You can use this twice.
Twice, which
Yeah.
is, you think of you get your Duergar, you get something similar,
Right.
but you only get that once per long rest.
Right, right.
You got twice.
Yeah, you got twice at a minute each. This is a lot of fun, and I just thematically, it's cool.
You see
Once
this
again,
little
it's-
halfling, little Noah walking up to you, and all of a
Yep.
sudden, they just boom.
Yep. Yeah, I love it.
So that is a fun one, and this one it levels up as well, which is
Yes.
really fun. But before you get to that, you have the 7th level defensive runes. Now this one is kind of nice too.
Mm-hmm.
So this one you're getting when another creature you can see within 60 feet of you was hit by an attack roll, you can use your reaction to grant a bonus to the creature's AC against the attack.
Yeah.
So then the bonus is the 1 plus your intelligence modifier.
Yeah.
So again, we're
Yeah.
looking at the intelligence here. It is using the reaction. So
Right.
we're pulling a lot of reactions still. There's a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
reactions to choose from.
And I really do like that there's, the fighters getting all these reaction abilities to choose from, It adds a little bit more dynamic ability to a round with
Yep.
this. So
Plus, you also at 7th level get to learn a 3rd rune.
that's right. You get a third one.
So. Then at 10th level, you get the Great Stature. Again, another reason to
Yes.
have a small character with
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah, so like we've been saying, gnome or a halfling, suddenly you're 3 to 4 inches taller permanently.
Permanently. And then your attacks, you get a D8 instead of a D6 added to them when you
Bumps
were
up
in
to a
your giant
D8.
might.
Very cool. And you get one more rune.
One more rune,
So
so
you're up
that-
to 4
Yep.
at level 10.
Then up to 15, we've got the Rune Magic Mastery. So with this one, you can invoke all those things twice now instead of once. So at
Yes.
15th, we're starting to get in those epic level fights. You can now use them twice. And then in addition, now you know all 5 of the runes.
Yep.
At 15th level, you can use any of them twice
Yeah,
a day.
You have mastered the giant runes.
Yep. But not yet.
No, not quite yet.
Not quite yet.
That's right.
Level
because
18th,
there is
Blessing of the Allfather.
Yeah, your capstone ability for this.
You can't have giants without Blessing of the Allfather.
That's right. So with this, you are even better at all this giant stuff than you were before, specifically when it comes to the giant might feature that we like so much.
Mhm.
Now when you do it, you choose another willing target within 60 feet, and they get that ability too.
That's right.
So
Now
your
you've got-
barbarian or
You've got 2
Ranger,
halflings now
yeah.
are just huge. You've got your
Yep.
halfling rogue that's
oh
now
yeah,
a giant that's
Yeah.
running in and stabbing
That's
things
right.
with that sneak attack.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
want to play one of these in Storm King's Thunder so bad right now.
Yeah. And like I said, this is built for Storm Kings. And
Oh,
so it
absolutely.
really makes me wonder if they're planning on going back to that. Are they going to
Right.
do a re-release of it down the road like they did with Tyranny? It could be a lot of fun in that setting.
Absolutely, yeah.
Anything where you're dealing with a lot of giants. I love it.
Yeah.
And the next one, this was a fun one, the Ranger archetype. This is
Yes.
thematically, again, I love the direction where they're going with
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of the flavor and just the fun things for the role play opportunities.
Right,
and just
right. It's
having fun at
great.
the table,
Yeah.
visually.
Definitely. Yeah, you can tell they've been having a lot of fun writing these ones. So.
The Swarm Keeper.
Yeah. I was excited about this one. You might not know, but I work with trees, which means I also work with bugs.
Yep.
So I see a lot of bug swarms on a day-to-day basis. So I know a lot about them. So this one was exciting to see.
So this is really interesting. I mean, you've got the deep connection to the world around you. The Rangers always feel like they're kind of left out a little bit,
Yeah.
and so this kind of brings a little bit something fun for them. It
It
gives
does.
them a nice something that they can grasp onto from their background. They
Yeah.
know the swarms, they know the small creatures, the bugs,
Yeah.
the tiny
yeah.
beasts. You get your Swarm Keeper magic at 3rd level automatically right off the bat. If you don't know it already, you know Mage Hand.
Right.
You can also learn additional spells. You get Fairy Fire, Web, Gaseous Form, Giant Insect, and Insect Plague.
Yeah, which are all, again, thematically appropriate and cool
Yeah.
for the Swarm Keeper class. I always feel like Wizards is afraid to run wild with the Ranger after 3.5,
Yeah,
where you could
they-
just do such wacky, overpowered things with the Rangers.
They
Yeah.
they really pull that Ranger back.
They
a lot,
did. I
and-
think they're a little afraid. They don't really know what to do with it. And I mean, from a mechanical standpoint, I get it. The action economy works different in 5th edition. It runs quicker, faster, and they don't want to slow that down.
Yeah.
So I get that. But
Yeah,
I really do like this.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of running the UA, but whenever someone comes to me with one of the Rangers, I'm typically okay with that.
Yeah,
'Cause
usually
straight out of the player's handbook, it's a little
yeah.
it's a little weak.
There's a reason we don't see a lot of those in AL.
Yeah, that's very true. But the Swarm Keeper features 3rd and 11th level.
Yeah.
This is fun.
This is the cool part. This is the best part about this Ranger. You attract a swarm of phase spirits that look like tiny beasts of your choice. They remain in your space. They're crawling over you, through your clothes, or flying and skittering about in your space. You can take a bonus action to agitate this swarm for a minute. And for that duration, they'll cling to your weapons or follow your strikes when you attack. So once during each of your turns, when you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you get to deal an extra 1d6 force damage, which is cool. You have force damage.
Yeah.
Always good.
Yeah, and it's tiny beasts. So it's not just bugs. It's like we were talking earlier. My wife was saying, "I want bunnies."
Right,
Can you imagine this sword coming at you?
Yeah,
just surrounded by bunnies.
That's right. And there's nothing limiting to you as long as it's a tiny beast. Go wild.
Go wild. Have fun with it.
It says, even in the description, slippery squids, fluttering birds, buzzing insects. You know, just whatever you want to do. Do it.
Have fun.
Yeah, it's your game. So in addition to that force damage, though, your swarm either moves away or brings a creature closer to you by 5 feet. And then when you hit 11th level, that extra damage is 2d6 force damage.
So when you're right up in the fray of things and you've got your comrades right there on the side of you, you hit with that. They just left melee range attack.
That's right.
Now you've got a couple opportunity attacks there.
Yeah.
So this one could be used pretty smart if a whole group of them goes in.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you can use this a number of times per day equal to your wisdom modifier, regaining them all after a long rest.
So again, not overpowered.
Yeah.
It's nicely balanced.
And it gives the ranger a reason to, boost up wisdom more than it normally would. A lot of people I see who play rangers, usually they'll cap it out 14, 15, and they're happy with that. So,
and then Writhing Tide at 7th level. So this one is this one's fun. And again, this one comes into the whole thematic visual appeal that makes this such a fun archetype.
Right.
Your walking speed increases by 10 feet, and you can take the disengage action as a bonus action.
Yeah.
Why do you do that? Because you gain the climb speed. Oh, you also get gain the climb speed equal to your walking speed. You can climb difficult surfaces, including upside down on ceilings, without making an ability check, and you gain the flying speed of 10 feet, and you can hover. Why? Because your swarm is covering you.
That's right.
So again, you're coming in, hovering on these bunnies as it's just approaching the enemy. You come in, and these bunnies just cascade over the top of you into the fray.
Yeah,
I can't think of anything scarier.
No, really can't. It's the last thing you want to come in contact with. Scuttling Eyes is your 11th level Swarm Keeper feature. So this lets you take one of your spirits from your swarm, shaped into a tiny beast of your choice. Again, this transformation lasts for an hour, at which point the spirit disappears. During this time, the spirit has a speed of 40 feet. It can walk, climb, fly, or swim. Has your senses and telepathically relays what it sees and hears to you. So you got a little spy here.
So now the wizard is no longer the only one that can have their familiar again.
That's right. So yeah, you could speak to it during your turn, telepathically command it to move. It can hide using your bonus to Dex for stealth. Has an AC of 18. If it takes damage, you have to do a wisdom check equal to 10 or half the damage dealt, whichever is higher, or the spirit disappears. Pretty standard stuff on that. As an action, you can dismiss it early. And again, you can't do it again till you finish a long rest, but it's a familiar.
Yeah.
The Rangers get a familiar now.
Yep.
Which is, in my mind, very useful for a ranger to have,
Yeah.
maybe more so than the wizard, because the wizard's not going to go wherever that familiar sent. He's going to send somebody else.
Yeah, no,
So
and the wizard just uses it so they can cast spells through their familiar. And nobody
exactly.
likes that. That
That's
just
right.
breaks games. And
Yeah.
looking at you, you know who you are. So, but that takes us to 15. The capstone on this one is the Storm of Minions. Now, this
Yeah.
one is, I mean, at 15th level, I get it. This is probably this is pretty insane for
It is.
for this archetype here.
It really
So
is.
your swarm now you have so much control over them. You can pick a point and create a 10-foot radius
Yep.
of your bunnies.
Yeah, you got a 10-foot sphere
of bunnies for 1 minute.
Yeah.
And you can do this anywhere with 120 feet of you. So not only is there this giant sphere of whatever tiny beast,
Yep.
everyone is thinking about this giant sphere of bunnies now. But it's difficult terrain for anyone else in there, and anyone else in there is blinded except for you.
Yeah.
So that is great. And then once they're in there, not only is that scary enough, they're taking damage. They take 2d8 necrotic damage.
Yeah. And they're blinded until the start of its next turn.
Yeah.
So that's just horrifying, especially with this bunny
And-
swarm you've conjured now.
I know. And there's more.
Yeah.
Whenever they take that 2d8 necrotic damage, you get 1d8 temporary hit points.
That's right. They are vampiric touching the life out of your enemies.
Those bunnies. Scariest things. I mean.
And the sphere can move.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can use a bonus action to move it up to 30 feet.
Yep. Once again, I mean, you can only do this once per long rest. So, not overpowered, but that one big fight, that's just that big way to either start the battle or finish it off.
That's right.
So
yeah, I mean, I can't think of a more horrifying way to start a battle than with a 10-foot sphere of bunnies.
Yeah.
So.
And that brings us to our final, the one that both of us have agreed will never see the light of day at our tables.
Right.
Not because we dislike rogues.
No, rogues are
rogues.
fine. Yeah.
This is the revived rogue archetype, and it is how do we describe this?
Oh boy. There was a lot of words exchanged at Anime Bonsai among many DMs this weekend when I told them about it. Thematically, as a rogue tied to the Shadowfell, it is very cool.
You could have a lot of fun with it.
It's very powerful.
As a DM, that's too much fun with it. So these rogues they've realized that this isn't my first life.
Right.
I've lived many lives before.
Yes.
And not only can I start remembering all of these past lives, I also have a tie to death itself.
Right.
And so, I mean, that just takes us off from tokens of the past. You remember talents you had in a previous life. When you finish a long rest, you gain one skill or tool proficiency of your choice every day.
Yeah, you can swap those out. So if you can't do something, just wait till tomorrow.
Wait till tomorrow. What do we need to do? We need to brew something? Great. Wait till tomorrow. I did it in a past life.
Right. And I mean, that's without your poor knowledge cleric is very angry with you at this point if you're playing this rogue.
Yeah,
so.
pretty much. And then that's not all you get from third level. You also get the revived nature. Now this is crazy.
This is where it
starts to break.
Yep. Yeah, so with revived nature, your third level for taking the archetype, you have advantage on saving throws against disease and being poisoned and resistance to poison damage. You don't eat, drink, or breathe anymore. And you don't need to sleep.
I remember all my past lives. I don't need to breathe anymore.
No, you're done with that. Yeah, you no longer need to sleep. You just do the elf meditation.
Yeah.
That's basically what it comes down to. You're meditating for 4 hours. But, I mean, the night on its own, not needing to eat, drink, or breathe is horrible.
There. Yeah.
The fact that you also get resistance to poison damage and advantage on disease and poison saves.
Yeah.
It's a little much.
At third level.
This is third level.
Yeah, so that's
not the last thing you get at third level.
No bolts from the grave. So not only do we have all that other fun stuff, we have necrotic damage now. You can use your cunning action to make a ranged spell attack against a creature you can see within 30 feet if you haven't used your sneak attack.
Right.
So now we're pulling in all kinds of crazy ranged attacks
Mm-hmm.
with necrotic damage.
With necrotic damage.
At 3rd level.
And I mean, it's great having necrotic damage, but when you have all that other stuff.
Yeah. Not only that, you're proficient with this attack.
Yep.
And it's using your dexterity modifier, which we all know rogues are very dexterous.
Yeah.
So this is pretty crazy. A creature hit by this attack takes necrotic damage equal to your sneak attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, this can get pretty powerful pretty quick.
Yeah.
I mean, right out the gate.
Mm-hmm.
This is this is an intense archetype.
I can only assume we'll see some big revisions before it sees printing, but I mean, I can't even imagine what power gamers and theory crafters are doing with this right now.
I mean, I would play this.
Yeah.
I couldn't find a DM that would probably let me play it at the table, but
No.
I would like to play this. My
Yeah,
players
sure.
are going to see this rogue.
And then they're going to want to play it, and you're
That's
going
right.
to
I'm
have to
going to
tell them
say,
no.
no, you can't. This is my toys. You can't play with my toys.
That's right.
So, I mean, that is 3rd level. So you don't get anything else from this one until 9th. And
Correct.
so
Yeah.
it is kind of like it's all that power right up at the front.
Right.
And then
right.
it kind of slows itself
Yeah, it
down.
tapers off.
Until you get to connect with dead.
Yeah. So with Connect with Dead, you can now cast Speak with the Dead
Just
for free.
for fun.
Because you have died many times yourself. That on itself, I mean, I don't have a problem with that.
That's fine.
But you get benefits from this.
Yes.
So when you do this, you roll a d3, and depending on what you roll, they're little buffs, but they're still buffs. You either learn how to speak, read, and write a language that you didn't know before,
Yeah.
gain a skill or tool proficiency, or gain proficiency with one saving throw of your choice, which
Yeah.
is horrible.
Right. So
That's a feat right there. You're getting a free feat for
Yeah.
the rest of the day.
for the rest of the day. I mean, it is one of those things where it's only good until you finish a short or long
Right,
rest.
and then it disappears.
So every day before we leave, I have to find something dead
Right.
and
Yeah.
talk to it.
Yeah. And depending on your campaign, I mean,
It might be easy enough to do.
yeah.
I mean, you start off in Baldur's Gate. There's
Yeah.
dead everywhere.
Yeah,
We got
you're
plenty of
yeah.
stuff going on. No one's gonna mind if I just shank.
Right,
Oh, they're
yeah.
dead. It's terrible. Oh, I'll talk to them. Tell them I'm sorry. So that's a little. I mean, like I said, depending on the campaign,
Right.
the setting,
Yeah.
that's not going to do a lot of good if you're doing a city like Waterdeep, or if you're in
Oh, yeah.
Waterdeep, that's not a whole lot. You're going to actually have to venture out, or you're going to have to go
Right.
somewhere. You'll have to strive to use this.
Correct. Yeah.
But in others, it could just be an everyday thing. I'm just getting all this free stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then this was the 13th level, Audience with Death. This one is kind of fun
Mm-hmm.
as a player.
Oh yeah.
As a DM, this one can break it because you're getting a spell for free whenever you die. So at this point,
Right.
you're going to want to die.
Yeah. Yeah. You're built around dying.
Yeah. So when you're at death's door, you can converse with the powers of death itself. I mean, you've got not only do you have advantage on death saving throws, whenever you make a death saving throw, you can ask the spirits, the entity of death, the DM, a yes or no or unknown question. You can ask
Right.
them a question that can be answered with yes, no, or unknown, and they have to tell you what it is truthfully.
Using the knowledge of all of those who have died.
All of those who have
So
died
again,
before.
it's thematically very cool. I've got players that like to get up to a lot of shenanigans though, so I
Yeah.
don't even
like,
they would break my
"Kill
campaign.
However, there is also another thing with this one, and this
Yes.
is kind of fun. Whenever you do drop to the 0 hit points and you're healed or stabilized, you get to change your personality characteristics.
Right.
Personality, trait, ideal, bond, or flaw, whatever.
Yeah.
So this is kind of cool. However, this is something that whenever you drop to 0 hit points,
Right.
in my home, one of the homebrew home game rules that I use is if you die and you have to be like resurrect or something like that. If you flat out die,
Right.
you have to change them.
Oh yeah.
You
makes
have
sense.
that near death experience. You died. You're changed. Something is
Oh, yeah.
changing.
So-
Your
absolutely.
ideal or your trait is changing.
Yeah, that makes
But
sense.
this one is kind of fun, and I mean, I could see some role play opportunities with this. You
Oh,
know,
for
it's
sure.
like
Yeah.
you go down, you die, you come back up, you're somebody different.
Yeah.
Your party's like, I don't like this one.
Yeah.
Chank,
Yeah.
chank, chank, chank.
Yeah. Just keep doing it over and over.
Nope, don't like this one either.
Well,
Keep
we need
on,
a question answered, so we're going to kill you again. We don't really like you.
Lay on hands, or spare the dying.
Right.
We've got,
Right.
we're good there. So I mean, that one it adds a little bit of fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Thematically.
There's some fun role playing opportunities with that one.
Yeah, and then we take it to the ethereal John.
Yeah.
So as a capstone, I can get this one, but
Yeah.
it's still.
Yeah, it's powerful. When I read the first sentence, I was like, no. And then I read the rest of it, and I'm like, yeah, okay. So ethereal jaunt, you have the ability to slip in and out of the ethereal plane because you are so close to death, and assumingly have died dozens of times at this point in the game. You can use your cunning action to teleport to an unoccupied space within 30 feet of you. So you're getting Misty Step potentially every round. But again, it's 17th level. You can't go through a wall of force or anything like that with it. There's things that prevent you from doing that. But I mean,
you don't have to see it, but you can't go through any kind of magic.
Right.
So I could go through the wall.
Yeah.
If I don't even have to see the other side of it.
Yeah.
But you also take the damage if you land in someone else's space.
That's right. Yeah.
So you take the force damage equal to twice the number of feet you are. Let's see here. Yeah. So you're shunted to the nearest unoccupied space.
Right.
And you take twice the amount of force damage taken.
Right.
So if you're pushed 5 feet away, 10 points force damage.
Yeah. And I mean, if this was a lower... If this was another character at 17th level, I wouldn't think twice about it. It's fairly appropriate for that high tier play. And I don't have a problem with it here. I guess I really need to see this one in play, because just knowing how a lot of my players are, they would abuse this archetype so bad.
It's just the fact that it is so front heavy.
And
I
really
mean,
is.
there are a few other classes out there that are front heavy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it picks it back up towards the end as well. You've got the 3rd to 9th. You've got 6 levels where you're just really powerful. You're not getting anything else.
Yeah. But I mean, you don't need
anything else. I mean, can we push some of these out can we space it out a little bit?
Yeah, I would be okay with that.
Space it. I understand that there's there's mechanics built into the other archetypes already, but those first couple.
There just has to be a better way for them, because I would change some things, but overall, if these were spaced out a little bit better, I would have less problems with this. But all I can see is one of my players taking 3 levels of rogue to get this and then dropping
Done.
it. That's
yeah. And I mean, I've seen a lot of people, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of them will take those first 3 levels and another one, and then just walk away from it, because there are some really cool things.
Oh, absolutely.
In some of these other classes,
yeah,
and you get those really cool ones. But this is just a lot of really cool stuff.
This is on the verge of game breaking, just taking 3 levels to get this.
Yeah, so. It's pretty insane.
But thematically, I think it's a great class,
and it could be fun.
Yeah.
And if you know your party, I know my parties, and we love the role play, and some of these would be just absolutely fun for role play.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I have one group that I know wouldn't abuse this, and I could get a lot of story out of it.
Yeah. So let's run through it. Yes or no? Let's go ahead and rank it. So the Twilight Domain.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's a great cleric.
The Druid Circle of Wildfire.
Yes, and it's one I really want to play.
Yes, really want to. There's going to be a regular NPC, I feel, in my game. Probably yours as well.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. The Wizard Onomancy.
Nope.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, in the right situation, maybe, but I don't want to put the effort to make that right situation.
Yeah, I mean, even as a player, I would struggle. I don't know if I would take this even as a player.
Right.
I mean, some might, but
yeah.
But I don't play wizards anyway, so it's just too much. It's just not my it's not my thing. I'm not a wizard.
Right.
All right. Rune Knight.
Rune Knight, yes, it makes me excited to play fighters again, and I'm gonna have to make a halfling or gnome one and add it to one of my games.
Yeah, this is actually one I'm thinking about including into one of my games right now.
Yeah.
My 10-year-old daughter, she is a halfling fighter. And she took
Oh,
Battle
yeah.
Master. I'm like, nope, no, we're gonna do
Yeah.
a little tweaking here. This is gonna be a little bit easier for you.
Right.
You have more fun with
Yes,
it.
this is what you are
There's a
now.
lot less because
Trust me.
superiority dice and things like that. She can't remember that.
Right.
We only play for an hour at a time. There's no
Right.
point in having that. We'll have some fun with it.
Oh yeah.
Swarm Keeper.
Swarm Keeper, yes. I've been wanting something fun with the Ranger. And this feels fun, you know?
Yeah. This like thematically, visually, I could see this being a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
And then finally, the roguish archetype, the revived.
I want to like it, but I can't. Not the way it's written right now. Not in my game.
I'm same with you. I want to like it. I like the idea. I like the
idea's
background. I like the directions you could go. You could pull from as far as backgrounds go. And one thing I always make my players do is I make them give me their background so I can tie in
Right.
to the story.
Yes.
I can weave it into the story, their background, so they have more emotional investment.
Right.
And something like that, you could have a lot of fun with as a character.
Definitely.
But
Yeah.
all of that right up to third is just it's
Too much.
too much for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they spread it out, rework it. And I trusted them to Xanathar's was great.
Yeah.
So whatever they have planned coming, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking to see what this final iteration of this will be.
I am too. And that's one thing that I always love about the UAs is they put them out there.
Yes.
They play test them.
Right.
They let everyone else play test them. I mean, even before they get to this point, they've been play tested.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so you have to believe that it might seem crazy to us, but there's a reason why they're doing this.
Yes. Yes.
And their job is to play this.
That's right.
So they play every level and work their way up in different games and different situations.
Right.
They're still tweaking, and that's why they always ask. That's why they always put the surveys out.
There are the surveys.
Surveys are out now for the Cleric, Druid, and Wizard.
Yep,
Make sure you head over to Wizards of the Coast. You can look at the Unearthed Arcana.
Yep, go to the articles. Unearthed Arcana is probably going to be at the top because they've been releasing so much lately.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be a little bar to click on the surveys. If you've read through these, played these, I strongly encourage you to do the surveys.
Yeah. So those are there now. They just released the other ones. So those aren't, the survey's not up yet. They usually come out. They've been typically releasing these things every 2 to 3 weeks.
They have been on fire with UA lately.
Yeah.
It's
they go through their phases, and you can always say when they are dropping a whole bunch of this stuff.
Right.
They're looking at doing something big.
Something fun's coming.
Yeah. So make sure you play them, pick them up, check them out. You could, like I said, you can pick these up. You can just head over to Wizards of the Coast site, look up the Unearthed Arcana.
Yep.
Head over to underthewinggaming.com. I'm also going to have some links to these where you can go to it. The link to the Wizards of the Coast page.
Yep.
Drop us a line. Let us know. You can send us a comment on underthewinggaming.com. You can hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, Under the Wing Gaming, Under the Wing Gaming on Facebook, Twitter. I'm still trying to get MeWe. Yeah. I'm still trying to understand MeWe. For the life of me, I think I'll figure out Pinterest before I figure out MeWe. So if you have any suggestions on how to do MeWe, let me know that as well. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for sticking around. Join us next time. And as always, may the dice be ever in your favor.